We're here today on a very special podcast segment with the Warnings drummer and 2023 Readers Poll Best Up-and-Coming Drummer Award winner, Pau Villarreal. Welcome.
Hello, thank you so much.
Hey, Pau.
I'm very excited to be here.
And we're very excited to have you here. This is awesome. So you've gone so far in really a relatively short period of time, right? It's most drummers' dreams to be at a young age and realize the beginning of their dreams. And you're doing it.
Yes, and it has been like such an amazing journey. I've been drumming for 17 years now.
Of how many years of your life?
I am 21.
Okay.
So, wait, am I doing the math? No, I've been drumming for 15 years. Yes, there we go. So, but it's still more than half of my life. I started drumming when I was 6 years old. My musical journey began with me playing the piano. My parents are not musicians, but they just love music in general. And they bought us the video game, The Rock Band. And my dad saw that I was really good at the plastic drum set. And he was like, do you want to play the drums maybe? And I really liked it. So I started playing the drums when I was 6. And I've just been playing ever since. Yeah.
And you're playing the drums at that point, like finger drums, like from Rock Band, or what? How are you playing the drums at 6? What's the vehicle
So I had the plastic drum set from the Rock Band.
Okay.
But then my dad, when he sees something, he goes like all in. So he bought me my first drum kit when I was literally 6 years old.
Oh, same time. He jumped right in.
Right in. So at first, nobody really wanted to give me lessons because I was like this little girl, and people were like, "No, she's not gonna last." Like, I didn't see the point in like investing in this. Like, I don't want to do that. Until my first teacher gave me a chance. He told my dad, like, you know what? I'll give her one lesson just for you to be happy, and like that's it.
Almost to pacify him.
Basically. And then he was like, no, like, let her stay. Like, I really want to teach her. And
the teacher said that.
Yes,
because
yeah.
the teacher saw how good you were and how passionate you were.
Yes.
Like you took to the drums almost. It feels like it was an immediate love affair of drums.
Yeah, definitely. I was a very hyperactive child. So just having that drum set really let me let out all my energy. Great. It was a perfect match.
And so what happens as your journey is going? You're 6 years old. And how does it continue? How does it actually evolve to where it starts to get a little more serious? Because you're so young at this. I mean, you're young now, but you're so young
6
now.
years
you're a
old.
kid.
Yeah, exactly. So my parents always told me since I was very young that if I wanted to do something, they would fully support me in it. But I had to be like disciplined. I had to like really put my all into it. So
do it right or don't do it at all.
Exactly, basically. They like whenever I was a kid, sometimes it was like, oh, I don't want to practice or whatever. They were like, if you don't want to do it, like we can, like you can stop, but like fully commit to something. So I just kept playing over the years. I kept changing like drum teachers and just learning a lot from many people. That was something that I really enjoyed all the time. But it wasn't until my little sister, Ale, picked up the bass. I think she was like 7. So I was 10 at that time. It was the first time that the three of us, like me and my sister, saw each other and we were like, we can play these instruments together. Like,
it's a revelation almost.
Yeah, like we just had never thought of it before. So we had, I don't know how to say posada in English, but like a Christmas party of our school. And they gave us the opportunity to play there. So that was our first show. This was 10 years ago now. And that was like when we just really felt everything click. And it was like, not only do I want to be a drummer, but I want to be a drummer and play with my sisters.
Wow, amazing. What a moment. So what are you listening to for music? When you and your sisters get together and you realize you want to be a band, whether it's that clear or not, you want to play together, who are you listening to?
Okay. So we were still pretty young at that age. So we listened to what my parents were listening to, which was a lot of Queen, a lot of AC/DC, Pink Floyd.
Classic rock, it would
exactly.
be. Exactly. Right?
And
you love that stuff?
Yeah, I do.
It's fun to play, right?
It's really fun to play. You see those bands and like the drummers are just like so huge. Like they're just like this huge presence and you really want to imitate that when you're starting out. So when we started learning these songs that our parents would play for us, it was just, I wanted to sound like that. I wanted to look like that. But I was like this 10-year-old kid who could barely like sit in front of a drum set. I was like, I'm really short. So when I was a kid, it was even worse. But I just always felt like I really belonged behind that kit. And also, I sing while I play, and it was one of the first things I ever learned as a drummer. And
Really hard to do,
it's
to get the breathing and the timing right.
And like right now, I don't even think about it because I've been doing it since I started out. But when I'm playing live, and sometimes you realize what you're doing, I'm like, how did I ever like even learn how to do this? And you just kind of like really go back and appreciate what your teachers like showed you when you were starting up. Oh yeah, so we started playing what our parents would play for us.
And you're singing now at the same time?
Yes.
This starts, so all three of you sing?
Yeah, the three of us sing.
And you start to do that then. You're singing leads, backgrounds, both?
Both. So I remember like the first song I sang lead was Back in Black by AC/DC.
Of course.
Because Danny couldn't reach the notes and I was still very young. So I had that very high pitched voice. So I sang it. And I remember like feeling really challenged because you got like the ba-ba, 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 ba-ba while you're singing straight through.
Yes.
But that was like my first little challenge. And after that, I just kind of got the hang of singing while playing. So yeah, every song that we ever learned has led us to where we are now.
You know what's amazing is that like Gary Chester, who has this great book called New Breed, he classifies the voice, even if you're not singing, just counting, just using your voice. He classifies that as the fifth limb.
I totally agree.
And so it's really amazing. Like you learned a skill that you weren't even realizing was an exceptionally advanced skill.
Yes.
To have
Big shout out
five
to my
independent-
teachers. Yeah.
5 independent limbs, really. Because you're singing, like you said, you're singing one rhythm, you're playing another. And so then from there, what's the first kind of big step?
First big step. So we went viral with our Enter Sandman cover when we were really young.
Right. And
Like-
how old are you at that point?
We recorded it when I was, I think, 12. But when it went viral, I was 13.
Where did you record it?
Oh, we had like this little home studio.
Once again, your dad went big or went home.
Yeah, my dad, once again, like he was just like super all in with everyone and everything. That's just how he is in life. So we had this little home like rehearsal studio. And because I couldn't play the drums in my like living room, it was so loud. And we would just practice there all the time. We recorded our covers there. And then Enter Sandman went viral. And I remember like the first time, the first like our big break, we were invited to the Ellen Show. It was her first like international appearance ever. And it was one of her first interviews ever. So
Ellen took a cue from your dad. It's
Yeah.
like go big or go home. If you're going to have a first interview, you might as well do it on one of the biggest shows of all time in daytime talk.
It was just a very huge moment for us. And that's where we really started like talking about like, what are we going to do next? Because it's very easy nowadays to like, not easy, but you go viral and you have this attention. But the internet moves on so quickly. It's just about how do you like maintain people there? How do you build a fan base? How do you continue doing that?
And what did you do? What was the answer to that question?
Well, I wish I had like a really concrete thing, but things just really, like I feel like the stars aligned for everything. Because it's not like my parents knew what to do. My parents are not musicians. They're not in the industry at all.
Right.
It was just like we kept doing what we liked, which was doing covers. But also we started experimenting with writing. We started writing. I feel like when we started writing was really the moment we were like, we really want to do this for the rest of our lives. That was it.
Wow. That's a huge discovery.
It's a huge step as a person to just like find out that you can create things, not only play what you've heard before.
And make a living from it.
Exactly.
The first time I played the PHX was roughly around 2008, and it was at the Montreal Drum Festival with Paul Brochu, Mark Kelso. Having a chance to actually play those drums after seeing them for the first time, easy to tune, big sound, really punchy, direct sound, focused sound, and yeah, I just wanted to play really fast.
Exactly. So we just like would release these songs and people who knew us from the covers would stay. And more than anything, it was just like people who really liked rock and saw like this hope in us and like that we were carrying that torch. And then when we started writing, we kept writing rock. So people would support us like they would support like their children or like their nieces or whatever. It was like, oh, I really want to see you like continue thriving. So we had people there who stayed, and then it was just about keeping people there and then just finding more and more. And social media is an amazing tool, which can be really hard to manage. Sometimes it's a full-time job, but we really do have all the tools. Like our generation has all the tools to just like put yourself out there.
And so when you're writing and you're starting to find what I'll call your own voice, who's the first believer on the record company side that says, hey, I'm going to bring them kind of to the next step?
Damn, like we really didn't have that until like in 2020 was when we signed with our record label. So we were a very independent band.
Okay, so everything was on your own until that point.
Yeah, and it was pretty weird because we were like this little band with little girls in Mexico, right? And we were getting more attention internationally than we were getting in our own country. Like when we would step in stages in Mexico, people would not be like, oh, we love you, you're amazing. It was like, who are these spoiled little brats who are getting these like shows? Like, that's not fair. So people wouldn't really support us that much. I feel like what really sets us apart, we would rehearse so much. Like we were going to school at that time as well. So it was like we would go to school, we would come back home, and we would rehearse all day. The three of us.
How many hours you rehearsing?
Oh, it was like 5 hours a day. Like you would
rehearse every day.
You would rehearse individually. Like I would practice in the drums, also like technique, like in the practice pad. Then I would practice the piano. And then it was rehearsals, like the three of us together. So we were really disciplined. Like we really put in the hours, and we were like children again. So we were just like really putting our all. So when we would step into these stages where people would not, we would not feel very welcome, we would just show up and give a good show.
Because you were tight and you were confident.
Exactly.
So you were ready.
Yeah, and like something that we really like took pride in is that we knew that we were gonna like give a good show. Like we would get nervous. We were children, but we were very confident that the hours that we were putting in would like show.
A lot of discipline, a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, but also a lot of luck. Like we can really recognize that like people gave us these opportunities. We knew how to take them, but
You did the work, but timing aligned.
Definitely. So after the years, we suddenly like started opening for huge bands that we really admire.
Who was the first big one?
I think it was Def Leppard. Yeah. They're amazing. They were the sweetest. We felt very welcome, but we were really nervous. It was like our first big gig ever.
You're
and
playing
it was,
huge places.
Yeah, and it was like arenas.
Were you signed at this point?
No, we were not.
Wow.
At all. This was like
something.
2017.
Amazing.
And then after that, we opened for like the Killers.
Yep.
Then it was, I don't want to skip anybody because it was really big. We opened for Striper, and then it was like Foo Fighters. Then
amazing.
It was Guns N' Roses, then it was Muse, and then it was just like
got bigger and bigger and bigger.
And when you get like this approval from bands that you look up to, and not only like you personally, but also with the general public, when they invite you back, that's always like the big step, because people would tell us like, oh, maybe you have like this pull in the industry. We didn't. We were just a little independent band. But then getting invited back, it was like, we like you guys.
Right, because you deliver the goods.
Yeah.
And you're nice people, which I think is a really important
I
combination.
feel like definitely being nice does go a long way. And also, people were really nice to us. We always felt very welcome, which was a very big thing. Of course, we were intimidated. These are huge bands that we look up to.
In
but
huge places.
Yeah. Like the first time we ever played a stadium was with the Foo Fighters. It was in 2020. No, 2021. Because 2020, everything was closed. No, 2022. I'm sorry. And it was at the Foro Sol, which is one of the biggest stages in our country. I have never been so nervous in my life. It was
It's a different
insane.
feel, right? Because you're at a stadium and you're on stage, the way the drums come back to you, the way everything feels.
We couldn't hear like anything.
It's so different.
It's 40,000 people. It's your first time doing that. You're opening for the Foo Fighters. So,
And the Foo Fighters show being your first stadium show. And iconic Dave Grohl. And it's so unbelievable.
it was so nerve-wracking.
What did you feel like after that show? How did it go?
It went amazing. I was so nervous, and like when I get nervous, I hit the drums really hard. I have that. I'm a hard hitter, honestly. But when I get nervous, like the adrenaline just like really comes in. So I was like all blistered up, and after that, I started like, girl, you need to calm down. But after the show, I think I cried. Yeah.
And at that point, you're signed.
Yes, at that point we
Wow.
are signed. But it was one of our, so the pandemic hit, we signed with our label when in the middle of the pandemic. We recorded an album in 2020. We went to New Jersey with David Bendith and we stayed there for 3 months to record an album, which honestly, like the pandemic was horrible and it was such a weird time. But we had 3 months to record an album. That doesn't happen now.
And you had all your songs written at that point, or you were still working on them?
No, we had everything written.
Just the three of you? Did you bring co-writers in?
Oh, that album was just the three of us. Honestly, up until that point, it had only been us because we were really closed. We were like, no, it's only us. We know each other. We don't need anybody else. Right now, we love writing with other people. There's nothing more exciting than hearing like others people's perspective on the same thing. And music is so funny like that. Like you can be hearing the exact same thing, but people just hear it differently.
And they bring a different
exactly.
view to it.
And also language also is a thing. So we all just bring different things to the table, and that's really exciting.
And then how many albums have you put out now to date?
We have 1 EP, 3 albums, and we're recording the four albums. Oh my God, we're about to have 4 albums, and I'm 21.
I know.
That's like really weird for me.
Congrats.
Yeah,
That's
it's incredible.
beautiful.
It's just sometimes I forget that we've been doing this for a long time. But when you start having these like conversations, you just like really feel very blessed of like everything that you've been through.
Right. Hi, it's David Frangioni, CEO of Modern Drummer. Thank you for leading our drumming community and being such a significant and important part of everything we do here at Modern Drummer. We're so excited. Please hit the subscribe button to Modern Drummer's YouTube channel. It's just hit it below. Be part of everything we're doing every day, every week, every month. Also, check out our shop. It's so exciting for drummers to check out. We got back issues, got some incredible drummers. We've got shirts, we've got hats, we've got notebooks, we've got education. It's all there. If you love drums and drumming like I do, and I'm sure you do, and all of us at Modern Drummer are so passionate about, you got to check out the shop at moderndrummer.com. And please, again, hit the link and subscribe to the Modern Drummer YouTube channel. I'll see you again soon. Girls, welcome. The warning here at the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame, Frangioni Foundation. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Yes, it's great being here.
So we've heard a lot about your story from your sister Pau. So introduce yourselves first, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danny. I'm the guitar player.
Hi, I'm Mallet, and I am the bass player.
We're the warning.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. And just in from the VMAs.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
mean,
yes.
How was that
insane. Oh, it was an honor
was
being there. It was so surreal, honestly.
I
can't
can't believe it.
I'm
Yeah,
so in shock.
And also, like, it feels kind of weird for us to say it, but it was basically like history in the making, because we were the first Mexican band ever to perform at the VMAs. First Mexican women
yes.
to perform at the VMAs. First Mexican band to perform at the VMAs. And to represent our country and Mexican women like that is
Really,
just...
you're the first to
Yeah.
do that?
Yes.
Isn't
That's
that
amazing.
That's crazy.
That's
We're
beautiful.
so pretty.
That's wow. That's,
And just realizing that is kind of like, oh my God,
my
like what is going on
No
with our
pressure.
lives?
That
It's
is
insane.
significant.
Yeah.
Right. And you guys slayed it.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So you're working on a new album.
Yes.
We are.
And how's the process coming? When will we hear this new music? What's going on?
You know, it was a very different process for this one because we usually only work by ourselves in all the writing process. But this time we were just like, what if we open up to writing with more people, see what everyone in the industry can, because we have a lot of connections now. We've met a lot of people
That's really cool.
through this last year, and we loved working with other people as well. So we are just recording. And this is the only time that we've also interrupted recording.
Yeah, we've been like recording for like a week, and then we leave to like
Play.
to go on tour, and then another week, and then we just do it when we can. Which honestly, I feel like it was gonna be weird because we've never done it before. Like we always grab a month or like as
Yes.
much time as we need to record. And honestly, I feel like it's been
been working
great.
It's a nice
like,
breather.
because you can
Yeah.
like rest your brain from like creating, and
Your
because
ears.
it's a process, and it's really tiring, but it's really fun. So I feel like it's been fun like going back and forth, and I feel like that has really helped. So
And where are you recording?
back home.
Monterrey.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Right,
Which
yeah.
honestly
great.
is great because I can't imagine like being on tour for 2 months and then having to go like to LA and record for another 2 weeks
No.
and then go back
Awesome.
on tour and like not being home.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That
recording
bass is really
yeah.
nice.
That's really
to have.
strong.
having
Sure.
and like also it's gonna sound like funny, but the like the Spanish part, like speaking Spanish while you're
Creatively
working, like in a studio.
is-
Also, like our producer doesn't speak Spanish, but
Who's producing?
Anton
Anton
the
the
Lost.
Lost. Yes.
Like we met him in a co-write.
He's amazing.
Okay.
And then we just really clicked, and that's what we've been doing.
Are you doing any songs in Spanish?
Of course,
Yes.
Wait.
We really like writing in Spanish. It's really hard.
It is really
writing in
hard.
Spanish is so
It's insanely
hard.
hard.
It can be like really cheesy, and words are really long, and the phonetics are just really different. But like my favorite, like all-time songs, like lyric-wise, like
Are
they're in
Spanish.
Spanish. You can convey so much in like such a
With the
beautiful
language.
language. So
Yes.
And anyone else co-writing with you? Or-
Oh yes,
many
throughout the whole album. Oh my god, I'm trying to figure out which ones like are in because up until right now we haven't really decided what we want in the album. We're like kind of recording everything
Sure.
and just kind of
have
getting
so many
everything
songs
in.
right
Right,
now.
and then go back and figure out, okay, here are the
Exactly.
final selections.
Definitely.
So we'll find out once you have your final
Yes.
list
Yes.
of
Yes.
songs, then we'll know who's writing with you. But it is a
Exactly.
new experience, and it sounds like it's coming along great. It's an evolution. I mean,
It
in a
is.
very short period of time, you know, the band has just evolved from finding their instruments to finding each other as a family to finding each other as a musical entity to growing just, I mean, lightning speed to say the least, right? But
Yeah.
the maturation of your band is just growing at such an incredible pace. And now co-writing,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
In a 10-year period, because that's a whole
It was
nother
a big
thing.
step.
It's one thing to write songs and not easy to do,
Mm-hmm.
but then to kind of figure out how to gel with co-writers and kind of understand what you want them to bring and you'll take from what they might have brought and you don't necessarily feel, if
Yeah.
you will, and
Yes.
kind of go through that whole process. I mean, now that's like another generation
Oh
of evolution.
Yes, like
It's
for
awesome.
us. 'cause,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is a
a whole
process.
other world.
Yeah.
And as sisters, we're so used to knowing how we work that bringing just a random person in the mix to like a sisterhood, it's like really hard. So
Yeah.
props to the writers as well.
Yeah.
Also, because again,
Especially the ones that make the final cut.
Yeah.
You were
yeah,
gonna say?
yeah, like we know each other so well, and also since we're sisters, we don't really have to hold back when we're saying things.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, like I can tell, like your idea sucks. I do not like it, but I can't tell a person I just met that, and that's not
Right.
very nice.
There's a
So-
safe zone in the
Yeah.
three
There
of
is.
you working that's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Yeah, and-
because it really is limitless. You can say or play anything,
Anything.
Yeah.
and if it's working, great. The other
Yeah.
band members, say, okay, that's great, and if not, it's not, and you kind of can keep moving on.
Exactly, and you don't feel judged.
No.
I mean,
Well, you
I
kind of
mean,
do,
yeah,
but
you
like,
could judge, but it's not personal. Like it's
Right.
we know that it's for the good of the song.
Yeah.
But now like adding somebody else into the mix, it's like you don't know that person, like how they react to things or how they are like emotionally or how they are as people. But something that is great and it's fantastic is being bilingual. So you're working with somebody who doesn't speak Spanish. And so we can be a united front always. If they propose,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
people
horrible.
think that
But
we're
it's a
talking
nice
badly
way.
about them. But no.
In a
we
nice
never
way.
we never talk bad about
It's just
anyone.
like if
Ideal.
somebody
Oh, you're telling our secrets.
like if
But you
somebody
tell them
proposes
secrets.
something and let's say that I don't like it,
But we do like
but
it.
I have to ask them if they like it, because if they like it, I'm not gonna say.
Because
I
then
don't
we
like
just
it.
confuse the person we're working with. Like, oh, I like it, I don't. And so we ask each other, and we're like, yo, like, I'm going to say this.
We say it in
like,
Spanish. and
Do
see
we
if
all
all
agree? And then
then-
we
There you go.
That's nice.
go as a
It's,
united.
it's a good process.
Sometimes the people we work with,
They're like, are you
They're
saying
like,
bad things about me? I was
we're like,
of
no,
course
we're not. We're not. But-
So Allie and Danny, you know that Pau won the Modern Drummers Readers Poll. It's
That's huge.
one of it's the Academy Awards, if you will, of drumming, and up and coming.
Yes, wow,
I mean,
congratulations.
the your age, the time you've been playing, like this is just, you are just on a fast track of incredible accomplishments. So congratulations.
Yes,
Gracias.
we were very
Yes.
happy for her.
Thank
You're very complimentary.
Yes.
Thank you.
you. So what a moment.
Well, hard work.
Yes,
Yes.
very
Hard
hard
work
work.
pays off.
and
you're such a
we-
big part of that as well.
I
Like
quit.
I've evolved so much as a. Okay, so fun fact, Ale has insane timing. she keeps me in check. So over the years, like a lot of the things I know how to do now, I've learned because I've been in a band with my sisters, and they tell me maybe like what I'm not being really good at, and having that perception like for growing is such a huge part of being a musician. So like things I do so naturally now were not natural before, and I've grown that way because my sisters have pushed me to grow in that way. So congratulations to you as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. And bass player and drummer, like that's a rock band. That's the foundation right there. So if you guys are tight and things are really in sync, the band's just gonna have an energy that you can't really describe. It just feels a certain way.
Yeah.
It just
I feel like
drives
you
the music.
notice when it's not there.
Yeah.
Maybe like you don't notice it that much when it's not there, but when it is there, it makes such a huge difference. When we recorded our third album with David Bendeth, we basically relearned
How to play again.
our instruments. And we realized that we were never really like playing
Together.
music together ever. Like we were all just doing our own
Playing
thing.
our parts.
And we thought we were. But then Ale and I, what we would do to learn the songs is like we would put the click track of the song and I would stare at her fingers and I would have
would
like,
just, like,
I would
stare
match my like
The grough.
It looked so weird
And I
because
would
we
to
were just like
match
looking at each other.
other.
And we were just like, we're not on time. And like, entradas, how can I say
all
that?
like when you would have stops and then come back in
or
again.
like after fills or something like that. And I was just like, Pal, that did not feel right. And when it did,
When it
we just
clicked,
looked at each other and we're like, that was
you
it.
can feel it.
And we just like need to like,
And now it's
we
second
can't
nature.
practice it. Yeah.
But when new songs, we have to go through that process again. Yeah.
But it's not as bad as
it was. Oh
like,
my God. No,
after
that
that
was
album.
a whole, we spent like 3 months just
like,
trying to like
really groove together.
meld
Yeah.
and just like.
And it's really crazy to see because you can also like physically feel the sister connection. They're just like,
Yeah. And like
They're
now,
locked in.
yeah. And we practice it so much that when we do it live now, it's just like second.
it's just there.
like automatic.
We did the work.
Yeah.
That's the
exactly.
common theme that I'm learning through getting to know Pau today, and Caroline and I talking to you and kind of hearing the history and your musical journey. It's like the synchronicity and the discipline of the three of you is really as complex as it is, it's as simple as that's the formula, because there's so much work and focus. I mean, for a bass player and drummer, sisters or not, to be that focused on we gotta get this right. We gotta lock it in. We've got to do the work as opposed to just play when you play or rehearse when you rehearse. It's a whole different mindset.
Right.
And you guys have had and have a really intense focus. And that's really, to me, one of the secret sauces of anything great that's achieved, right? It doesn't just happen. The talent might be there, right? But it's hard work and it's applied
discipline
discipline.
always
It's a lot of
overtakes
sa-
talent at the
you
end of the day.
sacrifice a lot of things along the way. I'm sure that you guys wanted to be teenagers and go out with your friends and party
Right.
and have a beer and eat whatever and go out. And I'm sure you got many nights you felt like we can't.
Right, we have to do the work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we
And
missed
it
out
pays
on
off.
all
lot
of
of
that,
things.
but
It's paying off.
to be doing what we're doing
right now, yeah.
this early on in
blessing.
our lives, it's just like we wouldn't change it for the world.
It's a
Since
blessing.
it,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations to the Warning. So, modern drummer, Carolina, David Frangioni, Ali, Danny, Pau, the Warning. We're here at the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame Frangioni Foundation. Thank you for being here today.
you.
Good luck
Thank
at your show with Guns N' Roses tomorrow
Yeah.
night. And we'll see everybody soon.
say,
Thank you so much.